All right, we do have on the line right now none other than the great Mr. Ted Nugent. Mr. Ted Nugent, how are you, sir?
I'm doing so good at stupid in spite of the crazy world around us. How are you and your family out there, Stephen?
We're doing well. And, I thought it was perfectly appropriate here, Mr. Nugent. You've been in this very studio a couple of times. But actually, I think it was at the garage.
Yeah.
You've been
still permeating the brickware, and just can you still smell my essence of truth, logic, and common sense still permeating your studio?
Yeah, we do. It smells like a deer covering scent and tapioca pudding, because I know you like your snack packs, and so that's a little tidbit most people don't know about you.
That would be Tink's number 69.
Okay, there we go.
I brush my teeth with that in the morning.
Now, I don't want to reveal a location, but obviously you split your time between Texas and Michigan. You're proud Texan, proud Michigander. Where are you quarantining right now, if we can?
We're quarantined in our beloved home where there's freedom and a hint of constitutionality right here in Central Texas.
Yeah.
We don't just live in China Spring, and Shemaine hates when I mention that, but you can Google where we live, and if somebody wants to mess with us, I'll send you my itinerary. But we don't only live in China Spring, we own the spring that China Spring was named after. Hence, the most important element of having Uncle Ted on your show, Stephen, is that I'm cocked, locked, and ready to rock the Glock, Doc. I have always had unlimited water, unlimited fish in the water, unlimited firewood in case the power goes out. But in case the power goes out, I've always had a generator with fuel for at least 6 months. Call me weird, but I figured that out about 1967 after a Michigan ice storm. I'm like a Boy Scout. Eat me.
Well, hold on. I don't think you want to say I'm Boy Scout, especially now with the counselors who are allowed in there. That's the new slogan at the Boy Scouts, by the way, with the new counselors is just shh, don't tell. So let me ask you.
That's almost like saying I'm a Catholic, huh?
All right, and this is live, so we apologize. I never want to shut up.
Can't do anything about that, yeah.
No, this is interesting that you bring it up, because I used to do this where I talked about, speaking of the ice storm, Montreal, many people died from the Montreal Ice Storm. I don't know if you remember that, but we actually had relatives who were...
In fact, the Amboy Dukes played during an absolute blizzard whiteout. Everything was shut down, but the Amboy Dukes, me driving the van, we actually made it to Quebec and Montreal for a concert, but we were right there through the blizzard just in time to go on stage, so everybody had already left because everybody was scared of the blizzard. Yeah. And I'm from Detroit. They're from Canada. They should have been better prepared.
You'd think they should have been better prepared, but no, they were not. It was terrible. And when we used to do this, I don't think they're sponsored anymore, but Prepare with Crowder. It's just kind of like, emergency food supplies. Yeah. And I always said when I would do these advertisements, listen, there doesn't have to be some crazy EMT attack. It doesn't have to be some crazy post-apocalyptic scenario. It could just be like earthquakes that you have in Los Angeles, which my brother had lived through. It could be like the ice storm, where all of a sudden the stores are picked clean. It pays to have a supply of water and some food that can last you 30 days. People said I was crazy. I guess with this, you're a little crazier, because 6 months you could live for 6 months completely off the grid.
Well, I got news for you. Without exaggerating, I could live forever off the grid.
Because you're a bow hunter, but I mean,
I mean, how many deer do you need? We have so much wildlife on the property. Literally, when I graduated from high school in '67, I was already prepped. I was raised in a hunting family where we had to gather wood at the camp. You had to gather water. You had to start your fire. You had to kill a squirrel for dinner. I mean, basic utilitarian pragmatism, self-sufficiency. Utilitarian pragmatism, self-sufficiency. Is that legal?
Not entirely sure.
Taking care of yourself, I was taught all about that. So by the time I graduated from high school, even though I was a crazy rock and roll, mushy brain, uneducated by the American anti-education system guy, I had the basics figured out. So my first purchase in life was a little farm in Michigan where I had unlimited water, unlimited fish, unlimited squirrels.
Wait, hold on a second. That was your first purchase? You never put like a quarter in the little rooster egg machine to get yourself one of those sticky hands? Your first purchase was farmland? I'm calling BS.
Absolutely.
You never bought a stick of Bazooka Joe?
That was my first personal purchase. I had to buy a van for the Amboy Dukes, and I had to buy amplifiers for the Amboy Dukes.
All right.
Was my musical dream, obviously, which I achieved. I'm going to say by the time I was 12 or 13 in Detroit, literally won the Battle of the Bands in 1963, opened up for the Supremes and the Beau Brummels right next to the mighty funk brothers of Motown. So my American dream was on fire really early on. But again, it goes back to my hunting, fishing, trapping, conservation lifestyle.
Right.
I've just never been unprepared. I've never been unarmed. I've never not had a pocket knife. I've never not had a handkerchief. I've never not had a fire extinguisher. I've never not had a spare tire. Just the basic things in life.
Handkerchief? What is this? Toss that in there. Handkerchief.
That's what
Everything else,
have.
it's the only non-explosive item, but I imagine it's the one that's probably most deadly.
It's true.
You gotta have a handkerchief. I mean, even today, come on, are you kidding me?
Yeah, and I shouldn't be surprised at the color. By the way, as far as the camo, Ted, we can still see you. The bookcase, it doesn't necessarily blend. Let me ask you this, because we don't have a ton of time this morning. We've gone over time. What would you recommend to people out there who aren't sort of conservationists like yourself, who don't live this lifestyle? What do you, if they were to start just being prepared for disasters like this, what are the basic fundamentals that everyone should have?
Well, a handkerchief for starters.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. I'm right there with you.
I've literally stopped bleeding and saved lives with my neckerchief.
Okay.
But anyhow, isn't it a shame that you have to reference the author of Wango Tango for survival skills? But there are some basics. And first of all, prayer. We're praying for those people who are maybe not on the edge of self-sufficiency and not living the original last Boy Scout preparedness. I think that's what a responsible human being should be. But we haven't bought any toilet paper. I mean, again, I'm going back to ice storms in my youth and blizzards and floods and droughts and hurricanes and tornadoes. I mean, who hasn't lived through those? Yeah. So we always have a few hundred rolls of toilet paper. I swear to God, we have a reasonable pantry. We have long-lasting canned goods of quality, but we have unlimited fish, fowl, venison, because we live on land that provides life itself.
Yeah.
But you have to have food, water, toilet paper. You have to have guns, ammo. You have to be adequately trained. You have to have fire extinguishers. You have to have adequate fuel. I've always been trained that you fill your gas tank up in your truck or your car at the end of a trip into town, even if the gas gauge has only gone down a little bit. The Nugent
Well, that's
family,
because you're from Detroit and they invented carjacking. There's a drive-in movie theater still in downtown Detroit. It's the stuff that gives children nightmares. You drive past it in the downtown. You know what I'm talking about? Downtown Detroit. It's right next to an overpass, like a drive-in movie. You're going, I'm gonna start watching, Big Trouble 2, and my car is gonna be nothing but cinder blocks and a steering wheel before we get to the double feature. All right.
It's a drive-by theater.
Oh, yes, exactly. It's a drive-by theater. Don't wear red, don't wear blue, just stay neutral. Yep. Mr. Nugent, we do have to get going. We have our Jocko correspondent on here. Where's the best place for people to find you, brother?
Well, go to jerrygarcia.com for all the things Ted Nugent. We have a tednugent.com website, and I don't know if you're a PG-13, but I'm selling the hell out of those things. And we also have new Java. We have real ultimate high-octane Joe. So Shemaine and I are here, but we're quarantined between tours.
Way to advertise a competitor there, Ted Nugent. But I will say this: it is remarkable that Jerry Garcia, so annoying, but unfortunately, unilaterally agreed upon. There's the pun with Jerry Garcia is the best ice cream available. It's absolute hippies,
and I agree.
It's so delicious, and I make little root beer floats with it, and I'm
I support those hippies. I love the hippie ice cream.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Nugent. We appreciate it, brother. We must go. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless America. You can